I saw a video recently about how blue states subsidize red states, and that because Trump won the presidency, blue states shouldn't have to subsidize red states, let red states live with their policies, so on and so forth. This is the problem with a federal government that's too powerful. Let me explain. There's no such thing as a blue state. There are large blue counties and large blue metropolitan areas. Those areas do a lot of business and generate a lot of wealth and a lot of capital, and that's great. And the rest of the country's red. And in those red areas, things happen like energy is produced, food is grown. This isn't to be competitive. This isn't supposed to be red areas versus blue areas. It's not supposed to work that way. It's a symbiotic relationship. Red areas grow all the things and produce all the things that blue areas need to stay alive. Blue areas provide a lot of revenue and capital to allow it works together. We are supposed to be working together. We're supposed to be fundamentally believe in a stronger, better America for everybody, not just for blue areas and not just for red areas. And we're not supposed to be competing with each other. So how did we get here? There's too much power in the central government. Let New York do what New York wants. Let LA do what LA wants. Why do we care out in the red areas what you guys do? And why do you care what they're doing out in the red areas? Who cares? Let these people govern themselves. That's how it's supposed to function. The reason there's red versus blue and blue areas are funding red areas and vice versa, we give you what you need. All this competition comes from the fact that we're fighting over a federal government that has too much power, and we're trying to control it so we can control our fellow Americans. I'm afraid that the blue people are going to get in control of this and take my money and do things with it I don't want. And that's the same thing that the other side is afraid of. They're going to take control of the government. They're going to take my money and do a bunch of things with it I don't want them to do. Why do we pay more taxes to the federal government than we do to our local governments? Why is the federal government so huge, so big, so powerful that we're all afraid who's running it? Because we've allowed it to grow out of control. One of the fundamental problems or misconceptions, I should say, about libertarians is that we don't believe in communal actions. We don't believe in a government of any kind. We don't think people need to work together cooperatively. We're all going to go our own ways, and we're not going to work together to build roads and infrastructure and all these different things that we need fundamentally as a society in order to survive. We're not going to educate our children. None of these things are going to get done. No. I don't think the federal government needs to be involved. The federal government's supposed to do just a couple of essential things for the overall good of the nation: a national defense, a sound currency, international treaties. That's the federal government's purview. The rest of the domestic stuff is up to the states. We're supposed to be governing ourselves. We're supposed to be 50 relatively sovereign states. And then we don't have to be angry at each other. We don't have to hate each other, yell and scream at each other. California wants to have a big high taxes and high property taxes and provide massive social safety net programs and high-speed rail and all that stuff. Good, let California do that. Good for California. Let's see if you make that work. And if Wyoming says we're not going to do that, or Texas says we don't want to do that, that's fine. Then they don't have to do that. Let them set their own regulations. Let them set their own rules. Let them run their own economies and live their lives the way they see fit. That's the fundamental core of what is supposed to be making this country great. What made this country great. And we've lost that principle. We're also busy fighting over who's going to have control over other people. And that's the problem. And that's where this red versus blue nonsense comes from.